all right. Kari, thank you so much for being with me today. You're going to have to please excuse the echo because I am in a big open study room in the Durham Public Library, right? So usually I will try to go see the people that I'm interviewing, or I'm in the office in my home. But unfortunately, or maybe I should say fortunately, we're doing some work on the house right now, and there's people all in the house, and so you're going to have to deal with the echo for this one time. But Kari, how are you doing? Where are you at right now?
So I am in my office at Johns Hopkins. I like that you're wearing your Tar Heels, like you're representing the Tar Heels.
Absolutely. It was, it's so good that you're here. It was really good bumping into you last time we saw each other. We were at Kizzy's wedding.
Yes.
And it was just really, really incredible to, celebrate the marriage of our friend to her amazing husband, Loomis. But it was really kind of also cool to be in the presence of, virological or virology greatness, right?
Oh, hey.
You and I, we went to grad school together at UNC. I was in the laboratory of Dr. Victor Garcia, and you were in the laboratory of Dr. Ralph Baird, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, awesome. I did a brief stint in the Baird lab. It was just, I always knew I wanted to do HIV, right? But I wanted to kind of check out other viruses to see what they were all about. And so I had an opportunity to do some work, in the Baird lab. But before I go any further, I don't know if you've been asked this question before, but we'll just get this started off right here, right? So, what's your favorite virus?
Norovirus for sure.
Norovirus for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what makes norovirus your favorite virus? What makes norovirus your favorite virus?
Well, it's interesting because when I first was rotating as a graduate student, right, I really wanted to join the Barrick lab. Part of that was because they were doing some projects on dengue, and I really wanted to study dengue. But Ralph, when I met with him, said, you can have a dengue project, you can have a dengue side project if you want, but our systems aren't really 100% set up for that yet. So it may be a harder path during your PhD, but what I have is this norovirus project. And he's like, I really think that in the next several years with the tools that we have, we can make some really good headway on this project. And I read this paper on norovirus and I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. It's just like this virus that causes people to have diarrhea and vomiting. It doesn't kill that many people. No one really has heard of it. But I, kind of listened to that wisdom about, that this would be a good project that would, have, result in publications and real contributions to the field in the next couple of years. And so I decided to take that project, which was awesome. But in the process, I also just fell in love with norovirus. And the reason is because I'm really interested in viral evolution. And I always was kind of interested in that. But with norovirus, it's just a really interesting project and problem that you have where there's lots of different noroviruses, but there's one group that does the most infections, and that one changes antigenically over time, whereas some of the other groups don't really change that much. So it's just really fascinating from a viral evolution standpoint, which I didn't know getting into the project, but it ended up being the perfect virus for me to study. And to this day, even though I've now done some work with coronaviruses, done some work with flu virus, done some work with flaviviruses, norovirus is still my favorite.
Well, I have to say, I think influenza is probably my favorite, neck and neck with the virus that I actually got a chance to work with, and that's HIV. And I think the thing that I think is just amazing about influenza, and other viruses have this characteristic too, but this capacity to jump from one species to another species and then change itself. It's just absolutely remarkable. HIV has done that, but it does it in slightly different ways. And I would say the thing about, HIV is, HIV infection, when HIV infects you, it becomes part of you, which I just think is just absolutely mind-boggling. But all right, this is going to be another weird question. The answer might be exactly the same, or it might be different, right? And I've never even asked this question before, right? So, Kari, you are a human, right?